And here I bees. I bees here. I was making slides and stuff up until like 30 seconds ago. I just cannot get my act together and just do stuff ahead of time. I try so hard and it's like a big fail. But I'm glad everybody's here. We're going to have a good session today talking about dusty ass fools. And I have, a lot of slides to show you. I polled my Facebook crew because I, usually like to go there and find out what their thoughts are on different subject matter. So it's not just, what I think. I mean, I put my thoughts in there too, but I like to hear what other people have to say as well. And so, I asked them a series of questions and they were in order. Let me consult my notes. I asked them first, how do you define a dusty man? Okay. And then I went on to say, okay, tell me some things that you've heard Dusty say so that, we can address them as we go through the show. And then finally, I asked the women, because the guys will say, well, I'm a good man and, blah, blah. And I asked the ladies for their opinion because I've always given mine. What is your opinion of what constitutes, what makes a man good? What qualities, what behaviors, what attitudes, what is it that he would have to be presenting to make you want to call him a good man? Oh, it's fine, Van. Get your inhalers ready. Yeah, honey, because it's going to be emphysema level dust flying around here today. Uh, it's just so unreal. And it's just so many. Yeah, she is a riot. Um, I don't know what the proliferation is of dustiness and ashiness that's permeating well, it's not even just the United States because I got online, right, and I'm looking on these kind of forums where you got to like put the Google, say, translate this page to English, that kind of stuff. I like to see what's going on in other countries. I'm just nosy like that, so that when I'm talking, it's not just about American women. I want to see what's going on with women all over the world. So you go in the UK and Canada, and I got a big audience in Japan for some reason. I didn't know that when I was looking on my demographics thing over here on YouTube. And so, you can look at it and it translates, they type it in there, whatever the Kanga or whatever the language is, and then it tells you what they say in English. And so overwhelmingly around the world, men are just faking and fraudulent, lazy bums. And it's not, of course, not all. So everybody getting their feelings are typing, we're talking about a change in society where it used to be all the young men wanted to work. If they worked, I mean, they would do anything to get a job. Nowadays, they'd be happy and content to sit on their ass and let a woman take care of them. So there's like all this, there's a complete flip in society to the point where men not only want to be taken care of like women and children usually typically do, they want to be women. And you know what I'm talking about. So we're dealing with a whole societal change worldwide. And it's really, I don't know whether to say that it's sad or interesting or fucked up. I don't really know how to say it. Yeah, it's worldwide. There's like women all over the world are talking about how dudes are bums. And they want the women to do as much or more than they do, and and then they want all this help. And so it's like, it's turning into a relationship of mommies and children. And then the guys complain that the women don't, respect them. It's like, dude, you're like a child and you wanted to be that. So you can't get man level respect when you act like a kid. So it's like that hasn't really sunk into their heads yet. So, honey, this just really kind of interesting. And yes, this is International Dust Day. So we just gonna roll with it. So let me yeah, they're having a very real problem with relationships in Japan. And so it's like, the women don't want to assume responsibility for these guys and they even have this thing, I can't remember what it's called, but it's like like an affliction that a lot of young men in Japan are getting, where they just check out of society. They go, it has a name, which I forget right now, but they check out of society. They go in their room and they don't want to come out. They don't want to come out for meals or the bathroom. They're definitely not to work. They don't do anything. They stay in their rooms, like locked off from the world. And it's becoming like an issue to the point where they have a name for it. There's so many young men in Japan that are doing this. So I'm like, okay, see, you start putting all this stuff together, all the guys who don't want to work, the homosexuals, the ones who trying to be women, the ones who don't want to do something. And what you have is a world full of dusty ass men. It's not just black men, although we are going to primarily concentrate on those because we are the ones who came up with the term ashy and dusty. So, but yeah, I quickly got an education as I went online, translate, reading them translated pages that, a lot of stuff that we think is afflicting only the black community or primarily the black community. This shit is worldwide. Men worldwide are turning into weirdos. Well, no, it's another name. It's a Japanese name. It's not called a herbivore. It's got some other kind of name, a Japanese name, but I can't. Oh, there it is. Oh, hikikomori. Okay. See, I knew somebody would know. But yeah, it's just the weirdest shit you ever, and all these parents are trying to figure out what the hell happens. Of course, they're not gonna have no grandchildren, and they gonna have nobody to lead their businesses to, nobody to care on a family name. It's like the whole society is going downhill. These dudes are just checking out. It's like they don't want to be men anymore, and it's become, it's a real issue as women gain education and economic power and political influence. The guys are like lost. They don't know what to do with themselves. Instead of realizing that they need to change and work in partnership with women, they are instead just checking out or deciding that you can't beat them, you want to join them. So they putting on dresses and wigs and talking about, that they're women now. So it's just kind of interesting. But let me show you some of the definitions that women came up when I asked them, please tell me what's your definition of a dusty man. So, they were like, okay, this young lady, Angelique, she defines a dusty man as a guy who wants everything from women. He wants everything for nothing. And that's true. They are still working with their hands stuck out. They want the traditional benefits of having a woman, but don't want to provide the traditional protections of men. They blame women for everything wrong in the universe, even when it's their own hand. They say women are too aggressive, but then turn right around and want women to protect them and uplift them. And it's true. So it puts you in this weird position. They complain that, especially black women, you're not feminine. You're not feminine. But then they turn around, well, you need to help me. You need to do this. You need to be on half. Okay, well, then I can't be feminine and sit on my ass and wear perfume and lacy dresses if I got to be hitting it just as hard as you do. So, they do just something, and they just put women in all these weird positions where there's so much conflict in what they claim that they want. Women are like, you know what, fuck all y'all. I'm just checking out. Okay. And then Lisa comes along and she says her definition of a dusty man is any male who doesn't think that it's his job to protect and provide. A good man is the opposite. Also, a good man has good intentions, is living his best life, and has a moral compass. Okay, now what does that mean? That means that if you have a man and you're married to said man, or you two have made a commitment, and your man tips out on you, this is referencing the video that I made earlier today. Your man tips out on you, okay, he's a dust monger. I don't care how much money he makes. I don't care how many years he's been good. His ass is dusty now. Okay, so that just means the dust was hidden. He was keeping the dust in the closet. And now the dust is free and flying through the air. So, you don't magically turn into a dust bunny, a dust mite. You was already one. You just kept it under control because otherwise you wouldn't get those kind of urges to be dusty. They didn't just magically appear. Okay, then Azalea says, I found out that my ex beat up his new girlfriend. She had a GoFundMe page set up because she couldn't afford the surgery necessary to make sure her eye healed correctly. On the GoFundMe page, she said, that he told her, if you want to act like a man, then I'm going to treat you like one, and punched her in the eye. She says, thank God he never hit me. I guess he knew better because I have a firearm and three brothers. He is a true definition of dusty. And in a lot of women, they talk about teen daily dating violence. A lot of women have issues with men being violent towards them, very controlling. It's just awful. Okay, and Shania says a dusty man to me is one who has a low opinion of women, who treats them disrespectfully in any way possible because he believes they are lower creatures. He's someone who has no desire or ambition for his life or anything in it. He puts women down for being ambitious. He demands your respect. A decent man has respect for all women, not just the ones he wants to sleep with. And I think it's important to, kind of address this before we get too far into these slides. Um, notice how the women are talking about protecting and providing. That traditionally, since time began, since men were like running around in loincloths with spears in their hand, has been the male role to protect and to provide for his. And you have a situation now where guys don't want to do that. They don't want to work. I read an article where a guy was talking about how in his area, which he admitted was like a poor white trash area, but still he said it was amazing how many young, able bodied men there were on disability, and had no intention of ever, of trying to work. They weren't looking for work, and they were just idle. And he says, in his opinion, idle men are dangerous. And I was looking at this research from a guy who's writing a book about idle men worldwide, and I wondered. Now, this is not in his book because I haven't read it. At least I don't know if it is. I haven't read the book, but I wondered if the increase in child abuses, and you know what kind I'm talking about, by men, is a direct correlation to men not being at work, because these guys, they're having too much contact with children now. They're at home too much. Before, guys would be out on the way and doing, working, doing things of a physical nature to get, to relieve their stress and stuff. Now they don't have anything to do, so they sit on computers all day. And my grandmother used to say, an idle mind is the devil's workshop. So these guys are thinking about all kind of crazy shit to do to victimize young children and women. And this rage, all these forums and everything of this, this rage that they have, or they feel so deserving of all this stuff. You have yet to protect and provide. So what makes you think you deserve any of that stuff? Get your ass off the computer and out the house and go get a job. And it's like they don't, they feel like they should just get like the highest paying positions in the world just because they have a GED. And I'm telling you, I'm always like a person who has a different kind of vision, and I swear, at some point, somebody's gonna make that correlation, like a social scientist person with some authority behind their name. I'm just me, but there has to be a tie in this massive increase in men, predatory men, all the predators towards children, because it's just too much. It's just all over the place. And these guys are not working, or they're working at some kind of job, or they've chose a job where they're in a lot of contact with children in authority, like teachers, police officers, child protective workers, child welfare workers, and so they have a lot of time to be around children. And I'm telling you, or they want to work in a daycare center. I'm always suspicious of any daycare center that has a male working in it. I don't give a fuck. And people be like, well, that's sexist. Yeah, it is. And oh, what you gonna do about it? Because men are the ones that be raping. It's not the women. So not them little kids. Exactly. And and it's like everything is more and more disgusting. It's more and more vile. It's more and more violent and perverted. It's like they don't have anything to do with their energy of a positive nature. That's why men need to go to work. Okay, even if they on a chain gang, you need to do something, and they're not doing anything. So they're just creating all this negativity and drama. So, I mean, like I said, this is just my own, theory that just came out of my head. I haven't read this anywhere. I don't know any scientific studies on this issue, but I'm telling you, I seriously think that there's going to be, at some point, someone will make a a study that says that, and then I will be proven right, and then everybody will say, like, I heard it first. I forgot to turn my light on. I heard it first on the Debsterism show. on YouTube and Twitch with Deborah Cooper. And she said it. And I didn't believe her. And she sounded crazy when she said it, like there was a conspiracy theory. But it turned out it was true. Yeah, I don't. Yeah, they do that. They try to get in positions where there are children, and I don't. Certain things. You can be changing diapers, so they're gonna have a reason to be looking and touching and stuff. I don't trust that shit for a second. Okay, let's go back to these slides. Okay, so we left off with Shania, so let's move on to the next one. This is my friend Almaz, brilliant lady, world traveled. I mean, she's seen some shit. So then I was asking, not only like how do you define a dusty man, but some of the things that dusty men say. So she was like, they love to say that black women gave up on a black man in the home for welfare and weaves, and it's a black woman's job to build and uplift a brother. And men can't be monogamous. That's too much to ask. Oh, but don't you do it, because then you're gonna see World War III. You must be submissive. And single mothers are the worst in the black community. They're the fault. That's the reason why the black community is coming down to nothing is because of single mothers. And her conclusion is that a dusty man is most men. And I have to agree with her because as I explained to you what these dusty dudes do, you will see for yourself that the dust is prevalent. It's not. It's not as what am I doing? I'm trying to adjust my light and talk at the same time. It's not as uncommon as you might think. All right, so next slide. Sherelle says a real woman doesn't need anything from a man. She got her own. She a rider and she brings something to the table. So see, that's what you notice this in quotes. So she's telling what she thinks a dusty man says. And that they want everything to be 50-50. So she says a dusty man who is someone who can't live without the help of a woman, either his mother, and you know that's true, or the women that he manipulates to give to him, basically. He lacks ambition and makes excuses for everything. He's overly emotional and violent. And we have a world full of those types. If they don't get what they want from a woman, what do they want to do? Kill her. Shoot up the whole school. Shoot up the job. Go there and kill the woman and do a murder suicide. Kill all his kids. I mean, these dudes are dusty as hell. And the women don't necessarily recognize him as being dusty because they think, oh, he's a nice guy. He got a job and this and that. But I'll be talking about that in a minute. Recognizing the dust before you get caught up in the storm. Tiffany says, she gives an example of dusty logic. Young boys are out of control because their mothers didn't raise them right. And she's like, Bish, where was the daddy? And then a beta male, aka Dusty, is a dude who has nothing that he has earned himself. He depends on women for everything. He cannot take responsibility for his own actions and slash failures and has no idea what it means to be a leader and provider. Again, provider. These dudes are not providing at all. They got their hand out just like little bitches. I can't stand it. And Ascension says a dusty man says that they're waiting for the purge to kill off these loose women. Yes, we see that a lot from those five-letter word groups that shall not be named. They are just thrilled. I mean, when Trump came into office and they thought he was going to get rid of Section 8 and child support and child welfare and stuff, they were just fucking gleeful because they thought that was going to make put a bunch of women on the street, not realizing that those kind of situations help seniors, vets, people who are disabled, as well as single mothers with their children. So you're going to have a bunch of women and kids on the street, vets on the street that serve this country. You're going to have old seniors that work their lives, 60 years, 50 years they work, help building this country and taking care of their families. And now they're on the street because you want to get back at black women with your weak punk ass self. See, just dusty, 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 dusty. And Junior says, my definition of a dusty man is one who doesn't protect or provide. But see, again, protect and provide. That's the classic thing that men are supposed to do. But expects a woman to give him whatever they want. They waste women's time, energy, and siphon off of her energy and use her sexually. He has nothing to offer but his dick and meaningless words with no action behind him. He takes no accountability for his actions and makes excuses for those in the male collective that are trifling and degenerate. Ooh, she went in. Damn, girl. And Rosa says the ones who are the epitome of dusty are the ones who expect those of us who have educated ourselves and built up a comfortable life. They want to leech off of us and say that black women need to help build the black man up. Never mind, they could have taken the same time to do the same, as the women did. That's what she's trying to say. And Starbright says a Dusty's a sorry piece of shit who blames women for their own problems. One who wants to be treated like a king but acts like a true bitch. One who thinks he is supposed to get respect simply because he has a penis. And one who can't get and keep a job if his sorry life depended on it. And God forbid he has to pay for the children that his stupid ass helped make. Oh my God. She's absolutely right. So then I started talking about what kind of things that Dusty say, but I'll come back to that in a minute. We'll talk about what the kind of things Dusty say in a minute. Some of the women already hit on them, but what do you guys think about that? What you just heard about what is a good, I mean, what kind of what? How do you define a Dusty? That's what it was. How do you define a Dusty? Do you think these ladies was right on it? And if you think about all the men that you've come into contact with in your life that you may be related to, that you might either have worked with, that you may have dated or even been married to, when you think of all the men that you've come across, especially when we start throwing in numbers online, I have to personally say that about 90% of the men that I've come into contact with, and this does not mean I was involved with them or related to them or anything like that, I'd say a good 90% are dusty as hell. Even if they're not dusty now, they were dusty at some point in their past, so they still have dust bits on them. Fluffing it, the dust off. The motherfuckers are still dusty. So it's like, no, you're not too late. We just really getting started good. You missed a lot of the slides, but you can go back and see those later. So, there's like it's just really hard to say, when you look at the behaviors of men these days, how many are not dusty? Let's go there. Let's start there. How many are not dusty? How many dudes do what they say they're going to do 100% of the time? How many dudes are protectors and providers? How many dudes take care of their kids without having to be the law involved, without having to be nagged? Even Future's tired, trifling ass with all the money he has, he could hire nannies. He could do all kind of stuff, right? Dude is balling, and he's still trifling. See, I got to take him to court about canceling on his kid and disappointing a child. That's dusty ass behavior. Having all these babies all over the damn place, dusty as fuck. So it's like, yeah, I think 90% is about right when you start considering all the dusty behaviors, and put them together. It's like finding a man who is not dusty is like finding a needle in a haystack. So it's like women have to basically, they one of the things they want you to do, right, is say that you need to pick, y'all, you need to pick better. But if all y'all are just as dusty as the rest, then where's the better at? Where's it? It's just a matter of a woman choosing a man who's less dusty than the other ones. But he's still going to be dusty. That's what I'm saying. Yeah, they have married Dusties. That's why they be getting a divorce, Faith. They figure it out. But my thing is to try to get you to understand we're talking about dust behaviors right now. You guys feel free to chime in, because you didn't get to. If you're not on one of my Facebook, page, not on my Facebook page, then you never even saw the survey because I forgot to post it on the wall here, on the community wall on the YouTube channel. But I'll try to get better at doing that. Because I get information from sources and then I make slides and talk about what people had to say. So feel free, you guys who didn't get to say anything on the survey that I did, the poll, put your comments about what you think a dusty man is about in the chat. And men, there's some dudes like older guys that made some comments on the other posts that I made, that they were talking about who was dusty, and they don't use that term, but they call them quote real men, or just males. I mean, that's their version of saying somebody's dusty. Women use the term dusty, but they say real men are not real men. Is this a boy? That's just a male, that kind of thing. But basically, what they mean is that he's a dusty ass motherfucker. That's what they mean. So, these are older cats, and they were raised in the era, like, my brothers and stuff, my older brothers, and it's like they were looking at what makes a man, and what makes a man is taking care of the people that you're there to protect and provide for. These dudes got the game twisted. They want to be the women, so they want you to take care of them, and so many of you women do it. You're like, oh, want to argue with me? Well, that's old fashioned to go on a date, and that he pays. We should both pay. If you have a man that wants you to take you out on a date and you pay, that's a dusty motherfucker. And you already setting up a situation where he's never going to feel the need to protect and provide for you, because you come in the gate doing it, providing for yourself. So he just chill. Now he gonna sit back with his legs crossed. Well, let her do the work. She thinks she all that. She want to do it. She want to step up there, whip out her black card and all this old stuff. So he's gonna let you do it, and he will never be called on to protect and provide for you. So you're a part of you that wants that kind of love and that kind of devotion and that kind of attachment to a man where you can let go and feel like the woman. You're never gonna get that. You picked a dusty motherfucker, and you knew he was dusty, and he told you he was dusty by talking about we gonna go out and we gonna go Dutch. That is the beginning of the dust storm. Okay, you got a man who he comes and he blows the horn outside, and he doesn't come up to your door to get you. Dusty motherfucker, no fucking manners. Okay, you got a guy, you want to go out, and you guys are supposed to be going out and stuff, and then he just like casually comes, 30 minutes, an hour after he's supposed to be there. Dusty, but you still accept him. This is what I'm saying. You guys will accept dust, and then you wonder why later that he's treating you so bad. You set that up, and I'm not trying to blame you, because I'm thinking a lot of you never really thought about this behavior, but you have to go in the door demanding a certain kind of treatment from a guy. If he decides he doesn't want to do it, it's better that you find out now before you get emotionally attached to him, before you marry him, before you have his kids, before you have a mortgage and joint credit. Okay, this is very important. You've got to have your plan, girl, ladies. You got to have your plan, and you don't let a dusty in the door with that 50-50 shit. He's not protecting and he's not providing if he comes in the gate like that. Okay, just move him out. You don't let, yeah, Dusties want to move in with you? No. He don't have no place. He living in his mama's house and his ass is 35. He is dusty. Okay, he's dusty. He got kids, multiple kids all over the place. Dusty. Ain't married to none of the women he had a kid with. He is dusty and ashy. Here they come with their hand out when they know you got your tax returned and start your taxes back and all this old stuff. They want something. Can you buy me this? Can you buy me that? Let me think about it. No, I'm not buying you shit. I'm not gonna buy your ass a Q-tip. I'm not buying you shit. Nothing. Nothing. Yeah. I'm like, you guys you got to raise your standards. And I'm trying to show you by having these women share what they have experienced and their own opinions of these men's behavior. And like I said, this is worldwide. This is not just in the United States. This is everywhere. Ladies have got to stop. And it's like these women who's all on this thing about, calling men she and her and all this shit. All you ask, your bitches' asses are dusty too. Those are men. They have a dick. Okay, just get yourself straight. There's men and there's women, and if you want to be a woman in a relationship with a man, you cannot accept that kind of behavior. You cannot accept bisexuality. You cannot accept the down low man. None of this. All of these guys have to go. None of those guys are what you want. All of those guys are ashy and dusty motherfuckers. All of them. All of them. Get them out. Out of your life. Out. 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 You need a vacuum cleaner to get all that dust up. You know? Yeah, they do. They do say that the ex was crazy because she didn't take their nonsense. All right, so let me go over. Okay, now I'm going to show you some more slides. And these are, I asked the women the next question in the series, in the trio of questions. What kinds of things do dusty men typically say about women? They have a dust filled script. They all say the same things over and over. It's like they have a script from the Dusty Manual, edition 2017, and they just go and they say the same shit over and over. Okay, so let's talk about this. What kind of things do dusty men typically say? They say matriarchy has been in effect since the 1960s, and single moms have raised effeminate males and whore daughters who don't value men. Yes, a dirt devil. They need to call it a dust devil. Um, Okay, first of all, this is when you know that people are stupid and they don't even know what a matriarchy is. Women, we don't have a matriarchy. A matriarchy is where somebody, a woman in power, is in power, and she has all the money and she runs everything. That's not what's happening in the black community. What's happening in the black community is nignogs are running everything and destroying everything and destroying everyone in it in the black community. That's what they do. Okay, it's just full of nignoggery. So I don't understand, even though, like you said, this is what they say. So we're not talking about the logic of what they're saying. We're merely talking about the words that they use. So if you guys have somebody, you want to see the numbers for in the chat are steadily climbing. If you have some people that you think would benefit from this conversation, send them the link to the chat, invite them on over here. They can be here in like 30 seconds and we can join the conversation. The U.S. Dust Constitution. All right, so let's look at some more dusty things men say. They say, the Bible says women submit to your husbands. And that may be true. That may be true, but the Bible also says in Proverbs 13, no, point 4, whatever, how you say that, the soul of the lazy man desires and has nothing, but the soul of the diligent shall be made rich. And then what is it called? Ecclesiastes or however you say that. I don't know how to say all these things. I'm not really a Bible person. He who watches the wind will never sow, and he who looks at the clouds will not reap. Proverbs 26:13. There's a lion in the street, because any excuse will do. And it's just like, why do they? Oh, and here's another one. Proverbs 26:16. The sluggard is wise in his own eyes, that wiser in his own eyes than 7 men who can answer sensibly. So see, they're thinking they all smart and why they want to cherry pick the stuff out the Bible to kind of beat women over the head with it. That is a typical game that they play because they know black women are very religious. They be saying that shit to me. I just be looking at them because it's like, oh, you must have forgot. I don't believe in all of that. So I don't know what you're talking about. I would never be submissive. You couldn't pay me enough money to be submissive, or maybe you could, but it would have to be like on an annual basis. It would be a one-time thing because after that contract for submission expired, and it would have to be millions, then you would need to renew the contract in advance, payment in advance, and then I'll think about it. But other than that, yes, Dusty Handbook, page 3. Helping a nignog build. Oh my God. Okay, let's look at another one. And then Essence came with it. I mean, she had like a long list, and there's more too. She says, Dusty Rhetoric. Females only like bad boys and thugs. Females are gold digger if they won't commit to you because you are broke. Females are supposed to build a man up and be his peace and submit at the same time. Real women don't have casual sex. Real women don't play games. They fuck fast. And she says that he uses a lion's pride to explain and justify his polygynous, view of things. It's a man's desire. It's a man's nature to cheat, he says. And females should be held to a higher standard that men can't meet, but men are smarter and more logical. These emotional filled, estrogen laden motherfuckers, they just be lying. They just throw fits and act just like, I mean, they act worse than little toddlers. Worse than toddlers. And then say that they're natural leaders. Fuck out of here. And then Janier came back and she just was like letting them have it. Boom, 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 boom. black women are feminists. And this is why there's a breakdown in the black family and community. Homosexuality is tearing apart the black family. Black women are gold diggers. Black women need to be like traditional women that were prior to the 1960s. It's wrong for black women to put men on child support. It's wrong for women to have a high body count. It's wrong for women to get abortions. It's solely a woman's responsibility not to get pregnant. And she continues, black women should help a man build. Women should be submissive. Women should go half on the bills with her man like a roommate. Women should give men sex anytime and any way that they want it, even if it physically hurts them or is degrading. Women should be a man's peace. Women should be ambitious, have goals in life, and have a life purpose because she's only here to be of service to men. Or rather, I should have said, should it be ambitious, have goals, or a life purpose because she is only here to be in service to men. I'm sorry, I misread that. And then her final one, I'm telling you, she just like bam, 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 bam. Women should be okay with men being polygamous or cheating because it's in his biology. You should accept men as they are. We should choose better men. Our standards for men are too high. So, see, on one hand, you should choose better, but your standards are too high. So, like I said earlier, they put you in this position where no matter what you do, uh, it's wrong. Whatever you say, they're going to find fault with it. And whatever it is that you believe, they feel like, you had no right to say that. You shouldn't have said that. I will go over some of the things that the women said, what makes a good man in a minute. But first, I wanted to show you this. Okay, now what do you know what that means? This is going to be the new Deb acronym. PALM, because I had Nignog and I had what's that other one? Uh I forgot. I come up with a couple of things. But anyway, what we're going to have now is PALM. And PALM means that it has a certain reference to uh, these dusties. Notice the dusty picture in the background. That's dust, and that's indicative of what palm is, and how guys uh, who are palm dudes will not live up to the standards of manhood at all because what they are doing is they value pussy over money. That's what palm means, pussy over money. And when you look at what goes on primarily in the black community, what do you see? You see men valuing pussy over money, pussy over love, pussy over relationship, pussy over just everything. I mean, everything with black men is about their dick. So it really kind of when you realize this, people are like, well, you just sound like a bitter woman. How is that? I'm not being bitter about. I'm just saying what we see. I mean, what do you have different eyes than me? Do you not see the behaviors around you? The vast numbers of men that have multiple baby mamas, kids all over the place. They're married. They took vows in the church, and yet they got side chicks and bringing babies home from the side chick. This is very common in the black community. I don't know if you guys understand that how common it is. I know a woman whose husband had two babies with the same outside chick, and brought both of the kids was on his child support, tapping his check, and he just couldn't get enough of this chick. It was just unbelievable. So this is the kind of thing that women have to deal with all the time. So this is what I'm saying. I was like, I don't know why people would try to say, well, that's not true. This right here is as factual as you can get. This is Dusty's number one thing that they love is pussy. Pussy is valued higher than anything. And, I mean, I don't know. Yeah, it's a very sorry way to live because, for a lot of them, that's the only pride in themselves that they have. Is these myths and things that go along with the alleged prowess of the black male, and it's really kind of sad. It's like, why aren't you like striving for greatness? Why aren't you looking at what you can learn, what you can contribute, and how you can be like an excellent father and all this kind of stuff? And like I read this story on Twitter today, uh, this kid's father died, an Asian guy who it turned out was friends with Charles Barkley. It's trending on Twitter, so you should be able to see it if you go over there on my, if you're one of my followers, it's Ms. MS Heartbeat. And you can follow me on Twitter. Actually, let me type it in here. And I reposted or whatever they call it because it was so moving. And this girl, the daughter, was talking about how Charles Barkley's opinion of her father, which she didn't know anything about till the dad died, was just so amazing. He told her all the stuff about her father and how what a wonderful, happy guy he was and how many lives he touched. Okay, why can't we have men like that where our kids get to talk about their daddies like that? Wouldn't that be great in the black community to have so many young people? Because this happened to be a daughter, but he had a son as well. But the daughter's the one who wrote the article. These young people that are so that honor and respect and admire their dad so much for the man that he is and how he took care of the family and how he took care of the community and the lives that he touched and the hearts that he touched and the lives he changed in the world because of his presence. How many people's lives were made greater? Wouldn't you want to have a man like that? What could tear you away from that dude? Nothing. But these dudes, they don't want to do that. And why? Because they're lazy. Men today are very lazy. They want things to be given to them. They don't want to work for anything. And, this is another issue with young women that don't understand that. If you want a guy to work for you, you have to make him work for you. So you don't be calling him. You make him call you. You don't be texting him. You make him text you. You don't go and ask a guy out. You make him ask you out. You guys are stepping into the role of what is traditionally male, and then you want him to, turn around and be the man, but you've already kind of stepped into his territory by doing these things. And women are like, well, that's so old fashioned, this and that. But don't you want a man like I just described? Don't you want a man that you can look up to like that, who takes care of his shit at home and who protects and provides? Don't you want that? If that's what you want, then you have to behave accordingly. Okay, there's like situations here. It's like a chess game. You move here, you move there, he moves you. Okay, and every piece, there's an action and there's a reaction. So if you're stepping into traditional male territory as far as dating goes, it's like the last bastion of manhood that guys have left that has not been, you know, changed really. And it's like, but you got to step back. Y'all got to stop doing so much. Stop paying for dates. Stop paying for your half. If he can't afford it, then he shouldn't have asked you out. That's not your problem to take up the slack for him. And don't you dare drive. His ass can get a Uber, a Lyft, a bus pass, a cab. He has options here. There's no reason for you to drive him in your car on a date that he asked you out for. Okay, see what I'm saying? Y'all be doing too much. You step in and you do too much, and then you want the guy to step up, and then but you've already made it too easy for him. You made it too convenient for him not to step up. He's a dusty fucker, and you just sitting up there trying to like blow the dust away so you can pretend like he's not as dusty as he is, so you can get married and you can do stuff. But you married a dusty. You dated a dusty, and you knew his ass was dusty from day one, because the way he came at you. Okay, they come at you and you talking to a dude, right? So many women fall for this trap, this dustmonger trick. You talking to them, the next thing you know, they on some sex shit. Okay, that's what you're supposed to say. Click. You don't let men treat you like that. And then you're like, well, that's all they do. That's you just so old fashioned. That's how you get a relationship going. That's how it is these days. It's not that way these days. They just testing you. If you don't believe me, read my article it's on survivingdating.com. It's one of the most popular articles on that site, and it's called The Hoe Test. The Hoe Test is on survivingdating.com. If you go on Google and you type in the Hoe Test, Deborah Cooper, it'll pull it right up. And like I said, it's in two parts, and it talks about how men test you. Even the decent dudes will still test you because they want to make sure before they give you their credit cards and their last name and bring you to meet their mother and father and sisters and brothers that your ass is not a hoe. Okay, so don't think, well, he don't have no right to be testing me. He he has every right to test you. And some of you are going to pass and some of you are going to fail. And those of you who are going to fail will be the ones that will be treated, really badly because you have accepted, he sees that you will accept dust. And a man who sees that you will accept dust is going to give you dust because that's all he has to do because his ass is lazy. That's why I keep trying to get you guys to understand. Yeah, these millennials, these Gen X people, ooh wee. I'm telling you, just horrible. Horrible, horrible. What information is being silenced? That these men are dusty? Oh, I found it. I mean, you do have to look hard, you know what I mean? But I'm a good searcher. I will put in some strings and all kind of stuff, and I'll find some really obscure shit that was done in like 1969 and stuff, and they scanned it, and it's like the crooked Xerox pages and stuff like that. I will find some shit, some research that has been done on the different topics that I want to discuss. But this one is something I think that is very important, and I think a lot of young women are not getting these messages from their elders. So I'm not sure what's going on in people's houses. I don't want to talk about folks because I'm not there. I don't know. All I know is I see the results. And I'm not liking what I see. I'm not liking that so many young women are so desperate and thirsty and it's such a pick me type of chick that they have no standards for the men in their lives. And the teenage girl, you don't have any business sleeping with anybody. Okay? This is the thing. People want to say, well, but they have needs, they have this and that. How you gonna worry about your niece? See, this is that. This is what this is right here. That's what that is. You talking about your needs, and you talking about sex, but you don't have no money. So if a baby pops out from you valuing that over money, what you gonna do? You're broke. Okay, you're broke. You too, girls. You don't have shit. You don't have no degree and you don't have no job. You can't support a child on minimum wage and pay for an apartment and pay for daycare. It doesn't work. Okay, so you need to keep legs like this. That's what you need to do. Okay, it's not because I'm telling you that you can't have these needs. I'm telling you that you don't need to have a baby by a dusty motherfucker who's broke. Okay, the older men are no better. Well, I'm not saying I agree. You got to weed out the dust. You just got to weed it out. And it begins by having higher standards for the men that you let into your life. These guys get away with too much. Too much. So let's go back to my other slides. And that was the last one of those. Uh, Wait a minute. What happened to my other slides? Hmm? Oh, here we go. Okay, my backward slides are not working. You guys just roll with me here. I'm just fucking this all up. Okay, we already did all of these. I don't know why I can't make these just do what they're supposed to do. It started all the way over. Oh, I'm sorry. This is not what I wanted. Okay, here we go. Jeez Louise. Well, everybody who missed the slides earlier just got to see them. Um, so then the final question in my survey of 3 questions. Um, what is your definition of a good man? So the ladies gave some, very thorough ideas. And so those of you who may not have heard from your own relatives, because a lot of young women are growing up with no dad, the guys too. So they don't know what makes a good man. And as far as guys are like, well, a woman can't define a good man. Yes, she is, because that's the one who would be picking you. Okay, it's just like an employer. Your employer is going to pick the one who they feel is best qualified for the position. You don't get to decide that. The employer, the one doing the hiring, gets to decide that. They have their standards, and either you meet them or you don't. It's the same with the relationship with a woman. You beg and talk about, well, you need to give a brother a chance. You need, yeah, yeah. The women get to decide what is a good man for them, not you. So she says, this is essence. Her definition of a good man is a guy who respects women, not just the woman he wants to screw. His manhood has nothing to do with a woman's submission. He listens to understand when she talks to him. He's family oriented, a provider, has a good relationship with his mom. He takes his woman seriously. He doesn't have to be asked 1,000 times to do something that he said he would do. He's culturally sound, open minded, believes in marriage and loyalty, is a man of his word, provider. Oh, and great in bed. She threw that in there too. Well, yeah, because you talking about having a long term relationship, you better be able to throw down. And so, looking at these things, I mean, who wouldn't want a man who presents himself like that? You want a man who you can believe in, and that's an issue when he tells you something. You have to have the confidence that it's gonna happen, that he's gonna do what he said. He's not gonna blind you. He's not gonna break your heart. He's gonna be there to pick the kids up at 3 o'clock like he promised. And your kid's not standing outside in the rain about to get abducted off the street because he's doing some bullshit. These are these important things where a woman has to have confidence in her man. I thought this was an excellent start. So then we went on to Janine again, and she says a good man protects, provides, and has integrity. He's considerate of how his choice affects others and possibly future generations to come. Remember my video called And Then What? This is how this dovetails to this. He thinks about what he's going to do before he does it and thinks about the long term impact of his choices. She also adds he knows how to communicate his needs and is considerate of his partner. He realizes that a woman is a prize. He has a sense of humor and can hold a conversation about a variety of topics. He's great in bed and has a sense of romance. He is always thinking ahead about the future. He takes his and the health of his family seriously. That is key because so many brothers be breaking down, these men breaking down. They got ED and all kind of diabetes and all kind of crap happening, getting limbs and toes and shit cut off. What the hell? And they eating all this greasy, nasty food. It's just disgusting. Tiffany says her definition of a good man is an honest man, a man who is secure in his manhood, has no problems with providing for his woman, while also protecting and building for his family. He has good morals and values and also takes responsibility for his mistakes and works toward correcting them. That's it. See, she's not saying that he's perfect. She's not asking for a perfect dude. This is very realistic. He accepts that he made a mistake and then he works on correcting it. Not just say, well, yeah, I made it, and you need to just accept it with no idea, no thought about, what he's going to do for the future and how he's going to make it better. Sherelle says, a good man to me is someone who has ambition, provides for and protects his family. He has self awareness and integrity, has control of his emotions, he's disciplined and kind. And Shania says, he's a man who has a lust for life and a lust to learn new things. He's a man who would never put you in a dangerous situation. He is a man who can help. Oh, but you can't help but to respect. Okay, so those are some really great definitions. And for those of you who maybe never heard, you never really thought about what constitutes a good man other than him having a job. These are mature women's ideas of the qualities and personalities, behaviors, and attitudes of a man who is considered a good man by a large number of women. So a guy who's looking to get a girlfriend, a wife, or whatever, if he's not presenting himself in this way, then that's why he's getting bypass. Because a serious woman wants a serious together dude. And you got to do flip flopping around. He ain't working. He had a new job every six weeks or something because he gets fired because he's stupid, showing up late, smoking weed all the time, pants sagging. He looks a hot mess. It's just like a lazy bum. He doesn't do anything. He doesn't want to do anything. He's not striving for greatness. He's not trying to achieve anything. I mean, what kind of woman, except the woman with the lowest self esteem on the planet, would want to be bothered with that? He's like a slug. A slug probably has more going on than dude does. Yeah, I'm telling you, these ladies was on it. This is some of my crew on Facebook. So if you guys want to ever participate, like I said, I'm gonna try to remember to post it on the community wall here on YouTube. But if not, that's my my Facebook page that I use for the show, Deborah X Cooper, and I just put it in the chat so you can see it. Um, yeah, these women, they want to propose to the dude. What is that? If he's not ready to marry you, then he's not ready. And it's like that's a dusty motherfucker. He's been dating you for a year or two or so, and he's not moving towards marriage. Then you need to cut him loose. Okay, you don't need to be dating no dude for 4, 5, 10 years. That's ridiculous. Having his babies and all this shit. I mean, what is he gonna get that doesn't already have by marrying you? That's why they're not marrying you, because there's nothing more to get. You've already given him everything: your body, your money, your cooking, your cleaning. You have a kid. You done bought a house with him, a dog, cars, and what trips and credit cards. I mean, you've done everything that a wife would do without any of the financial or legal ties to you. He doesn't have to do that because you was just desperate and dumb, and you did it all for him. For his dusty ass. He told you was born with a silver spoon in your mouth because you handle business. Yes, Carrie, I try to do exactly that. I've given some lectures in high schools, but it's hard to get in them because they have all these rules and stuff, and then they watch some of my videos, and I'm talking about motherfuckers, and they're like, excuse you, no. But it's not like I don't know how to tone myself down when I'm around kids, but I'm not around kids right now. And most of the people that come on my channel are mature enough, they're like older teens. They're mature enough to, they probably hear worse than this at home anyway, so I'm not tripping. But, schools have certain rules and regulations. Of course, I would abide by them. But it's very difficult to get into those environments, which is exactly, though, where I need to be, in high schools especially. Yes, Dusties want to be proposed to. They want you to ask them out on a date. They want you to call and they want you to pay. It's like, why don't you just get your nails done and put on false eyelashes and a dress and a wig? Because you so trying to be the girl. And then you talk about you when but I'm a man and you want man respect. No, you want to get married. See, this is the thing that drives me crazy. Because then you have women that come online, right? Yeah, I'm dogging these dudes out. I'm talking like you little pink panty wearing motherfucker. You ain't shit. Okay, oh, you're so harsh. You shouldn't be like that. Our men, this and that, blah blah blah. So they stand up with put their cape on, flying around like they James Brown or somebody. And I'm like, look here, sit your little narrow ass down, girl. I'm a grown ass woman, and when I'm talking about men, you don't need to ever get in my face trying to protect a motherfucker from me. If he was really kind of man, he should be able to protect himself. He don't need you to step in front of the bullet. You supposed to be sitting your ass down somewhere trying to dodge him, because I'll be shooting them real hard and real fast. And so when I'm talking about dudes, I'm talking about specific behaviors of dudes, not every dude. So it's like if your dude fits what I'm talking about, then you got an ain't shit nigger. I'm just, I don't know what to tell you. So you don't need to be trying to be defensive about it. Just accept that you got a dusty. And then what you gonna do? That's what you need to do. You need to figure out what you're gonna do about the fact that you got yourself tied up with a dusty. They run up your credit and then they bail. They don't have no credit because they fucked theirs up. So then they want you to help them get a business. You to help them start, buy them a car or a truck or something. They can't get rent an apartment because their credit's all fucked up, or they don't have enough money because they fucked it all up buying Jordans and shit. So then here you are letting him move into your house, and he's supposed to start paying half the bills and stuff, and then he don't do it, and then you write my column talking about, he was supposed to start paying half. This is just really putting a burden on me financially. Why didn't you get the money from him before you let him come up in there? Why didn't you do that? And then why don't you have something signed so that he knows if he doesn't pay by a certain date, that eviction proceedings will be done, and then you do it, and then you charge them for the legal fees as well. Because once you let them move into your spot, you got to evict them under in most municipalities. You can't just throw their shit out. You got to go through the legal eviction paper process rather. So that's why I'm really not in favor of people like letting some man move in with them. I'm not in favor of that, especially if you got kids. You don't know nothing about this motherfucker, and they tipping from your room into the kids' room at night. I had a friend that happened to. She had twin daughters, and she had this dude. She found a dude in his drawers with a boner in her daughter's room. The little girl's about 11 years old. He's standing in their room in his drawers with the dick as hard as times at 29. And then she called me talking about what she should do. I said, you should have busted him upside the head with something and killed him. And she's like, well, but he didn't actually touch him. I said, but he was thinking about touching him. That's why his dick was hard. He was fantasizing. He got out of the bed with her, the one that he's supposed to be dating, and went in her kid's room. I said, put a lock on your girl's door so that in the future this won't happen. So that's what she did. Because she was a little too busy for me. She just had way too many dudes over her daughters. I just couldn't understand it. But, that was scary. That frightened me that she was that stupid and, that the girls were that vulnerable. And she just over trusted this fool. So these are the kind of things, you got a man, he's into certain kinds of porn or something. He's a dusty. You got a man who has a record for abusing people, hurting people, robbery, this kind of stuff. He's a dusty. You got a man who's been in prison for dealing drugs and stuff with give no fucks about who the people whose lives he destroyed. That is a dusty and ashy motherfucker. You got somebody who got fucked up credit and he can't do nothing. You got to do everything for him. Dusty. Okay, you got somebody who's got a string of women that he dogged out, cheated on, and all stuff, and you know it, dusty. You messing with a man that has got a baby mom or something like that, and not even though, like I said, I know with my video today, I talked about them because it's their responsibility to be true to their woman and honor the vows and stuff that they made. But if you got a guy coming at you like that, whether you decide to go for it or not, understand that he's a dusty motherfucker, okay? Because otherwise he would have his ass over there with his woman. So the fact that he's in your face, he's dusty. So there's a whole bunch of things that's dusty. You got a man who don't want to go to work. Oh, babe, I just want to be with you. I just want to hang out with you and stuff. So that he getting docked for that day of pay, putting his job at risk because he's not at work. Dusty. You tell him to do something like take out the garbage. He's supposed to know the garbage goes out once a week, right? It always goes. Say, let's just say Tuesday. So on Monday night, you need to put the can out to the curb, right? But here you are, got to remind him every week. What is he? A dusty motherfucker. Okay, you shouldn't have to tell him to do that. So these are things that I want you guys to start thinking about more about behaviors and respect and honor and dignity and what constitutes manhood. And this guy is he not representing manhood? He's just boyhood. He's just dudehood. He's just fuckboyhood. He's just knucklehead hood. He's knick-knock hood. He's not manhood. Okay, because men take care of business. Men are providers and men protect. These guys are more likely to victimize you and be predatory towards you and your children than they are to protect anything. Okay, and you guys don't know. Your standards are just kind of questionable, and it just bothers me. Oh no, it's more than 80%, honey. We already put it at 90, and it's probably 95. Because, a lot of women like, well, my man wouldn't be like that. And then soon as they say that, then they find out that the motherfucker just undercover dusty. They didn't know he was dusty. He got a boyfriend. He tipping. He got some bitch pregnant. And he come talking about, well, we can work it out because, I got to pay child support. We did a DNA test. I didn't want to tell you until the DNA test was done because, so all this time, right, you didn't know he was even having an affair, right? So you under the impression that your man is not dusty and then he hits you with this and drops this bomb on you, and now you realize that you have a dusty motherfucker too. That's what I say. It's probably more like 95%. And even like I said, the guys who are not dusty this moment, they've matured, they've grown past it. They've got all the wild out their system, whatever excuse they want to use. Okay, for the past 25 years, they was dusty as hell. Okay, so all the women who dealt with him then will point to him and say, "Oh, there's that motherfucker right there. He dusty as all get out." And then you're like, "Well, he's not dusty now. So what? He still got the dusty gene because that's why he was dusty earlier." You don't just, I mean, he might have decided he don't want to be Dusty no more, and then try to change his behavior, but he's still a Dusty. It's just like they say when you go to the AA, I am an alcoholic. Okay, you're always a Dusty. You're just not drinking right now, and you're just not dusting right now, but your ass is still a Dusty, and you still a drunk. And that's just the way that it is. So I don't go for all this stuff they're talking about. Well, he ain't Dusty now. Oh yeah, those are the super dust mongers. She says she writes that they have an agenda to take you out emotionally, financially, and spiritually. Those are the predators that I was talking about. They are sociopaths, and they're out to get whatever they can get from women to use them in every way possible. Um, those kind of guys are scary. You live in Dustistan. Ah, that's funny. Yeah, I don't know. I just want you guys to think more, especially these young, as you get around young people. I want this video to serve as a resource so that, the young women who have never had anyone sit down and explain to them what a really truly good guy is, what qualities he should possess, how he should roll, how he should roll in the world, what kind of things they should be looking for. So many young women are used to dudes making promises and not keeping them. To them, that's normalized behavior. And see, that's to me, that's so sad that they're constantly disappointed and they don't even expect that the guy's going to come through for them. You know, Dusties don't change, they stay dusty forever. They just, they born dusty and they die dusty. And there's nothing too much you can do about that in between except to extricate yourself from the situation. And a lot of women, they get with a dusty and they're like, well, we're going to try. This is a famous phrase that comes in my advice column. We're going to try to work it out. Or, how can I make him understand that blah, 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 blah. Or, how can I save my relationship? These are women who want to take on all the responsibility for their relationship, for their man, for their family, and everything, where the man is being excused and not being given it being accountable at all. And to them, that's normalized behavior. I don't agree with that at all. If you got a man who's not holding his end up, he's not working, he's not contributing, he's not, helping with his children that he helped make. He went in 50 on them motherfuckers, so he needs to go in 50 from the time until they leave the house. And, the house that he lives in, that you shouldn't be the one responsible for it. Because I know this one dude I was with, and we called ourselves living together. And he thought that I was going to be cleaning up after him. You know what I did? I told him I need $25. And he's like, why? I said, because it's going to go with the $25 I have. And I'm getting somebody, Juanita, come up in here and clean up this damn house. And he's like, well, I don't want somebody, just some stranger up in the house. I said, then you go clean it. Those are your two choices because I'm not doing it. That option is off the table. So give me that $25 or you put them rubber gloves on and get to clean it. Those are your two choices. So this motherfucker, he decided he didn't want to spend the $25. So he scrubbed the kitchen, he, vacuumed, he did everything. I said, okay, so why couldn't you have done that before? You just like the thought of spending $25 just was just too much for his dusty ass. I broke up with him anyway because he was just trifling. But that just told me something. Because a normal dude, he know he's not gonna do it, and he know he's not gonna keep it up. He would just peel out. So how often is she gonna come? So how often do I need to give you money? And so he would just put it in his budget, and then that would be the end of it. We would both go on, and nobody would be mad because the house was tore up. But I had decided that I was not going to do that, and he was going to help pay for it. And I should have made him pay for all of it, but I was trying to be nice because I was like, I'm not doing shit. Exactly, Juanita, and that really was her name. And I know it sounds like it, but that was her name. And so she'd come in and she'd clean up, and she was good. She stuff, and a couple times she brought some tamales and shit. I was like, oh shoot, this is great. I gave her extra money. She just brought it as a gift, but still, I gave her some money for it because that shit is not cheap. It's not cheap. Even though I make tamales, I know it costs a lot of money to make them. So, and we used to sell them. Me and my daughter had a tamale business, and I caught in honor of her. I called it Juanita's Tamales. And honey, believe me, I can cook all kinds of food. I cook international cuisine. Make Filipino food, Chinese food, Japanese food, African food, Italian food, Korean. I mean, just I cook everything. So but I made some really great chicken tamales, and people loved them. So we were selling them. Um, yeah, you guys. I don't know. I really want you to, more than any other video on this channel, I want you guys to share this link to your female colleagues, your female associates, especially young women. Um, we I mean, if they're not our kids, they're not in our family, they're like kind of some peripheral influence to us, but they need this information desperately. I'm not sure what else to do. I mean, to try to reach them. If you have suggestions, I'm definitely open to hearing them. I want to um kind of keep them from making so many mistakes with dudes, just accepting dudes on face value without really having any standards, opening the door in their life and their bed and their body to these guys just because the guys say that they're interested. Well, what is he doing? What standards does he meet? What benefit is he to you? I mean, what is he doing? What's going on with dude? And you got to ask questions. If you're not sure what kind of questions, look at the video called "The Man Behind the Mask." I will try to remember to, at the end of the video, you can put the video links and stuff. I will try to remember to put it there, but I go through a whole video where I give women ideas about how to assess a guy by asking certain questions on early dates. Also, we just did the video on vetting a man, which goes even deeper into some of the things. So when you put all of these things together, you can weed out, you can recognize certain behaviors as being dusty behaviors. Okay, that's the part of the vetting process. Because oh, yes, Dusty. Oh, you just said that. Oh, that's Dusty. He makes jokes about how he got over on somebody, lied, somebody stole something or something. Dusty behavior. Dusty straight up. Lady bosses just got a part-time job as a comedian. Yes, they were. But that's what, because they look at you and they like, because there's a lot of Afro Latinos that, you know what I mean. So they're trying to figure, you can see them looking, trying to figure out, is that where, is that what's going on with me? I'm like, shit, I'm a San Francisco nigga. So it's like, but I like, I like it. I grew up eating food from all over the world. I have a very international palate. So when you like to eat foods from every country, you're gonna learn to cook foods from every country, and that's me. Just and I make vegan and regular versions of stuff. So it's very interesting around my house. The food is very interesting. But you guys have any questions? I don't know what else to say about it. It's just a matter of and if you have sons, I think maybe this bears discussion. If you have sons, don't don't let them be lazy. Make them do chores. So I mean, well, that's a woman's work. They had this attitude. Men had this attitude. That's woman's work. Fuck that. Do you eat off these dishes? Do you eat the food that was cooked in those pots? Do you walk on the floor? Do you sit your ass on that toilet? Do you use the sink to shave and brush your teeth and all this stuff? Okay, then you gonna clean all of that. You gonna vacuum all of that, and them clothes that you wear, and them sheets that you dirtied up, and them towels that you dirtied up. You gonna learn to wash those too. That's called being a man, and that's contributing to the household in which you live. Don't let your sons get away with that kind of stuff. They sit around, they want to play video games all damn day and just relax and chill and hang out with their friends, watch TV and all this old stuff. No, you need to contribute to the household in which you live. Make those boys work. And my cousin, as soon as her son, like here, you can, well, I don't know what it is now. This was years ago because he's in his, I think he's almost 40 now. But when he was a teenager, my cousin's son, he wanted some money. He gonna call him, so trying to have a sex life and dating. She immediately cut him off from his allowance. Okay, well now that you trying to be a man, you need to get a job. And he's like, well, you know what? No, I'm not supporting your sex life. And so I was in full support of that. I was like, yep, that's exactly what I would have told my son if I had one too. Me and my cousin think alike, and we're very savage. But that's the one I told you about who beat up the woman and her daughter. She crazy. But her son is like the finest young man ever. And he, got a job. He was going to high school, but he had a part-time job. I think his first job was at Taco Bell. And so he worked at Taco Bell. Then he got a better paying job at In and Out Burger or something. And so, because they was paying like $10 an hour back then. And so then, but he's always worked. He's always been a productive guy. Now he has, I think, four. He's been married forever. He got four kids. He works really hard, a lot of overtime. He takes care of his wife. He takes care of his kids. He pays his bills. They have a nice little house for all of them. The kids got a yard to play in, all the stuff. I mean, this is what she did, and he, like I said, he's a very responsible kid, guy, and he grew up like that. So you guys, if that's the kind of son that you want to have, that you can be proud of, and that's going to take care of his wife and his kids, he's going to be a protector and a provider, then you need to make sure that you raise your son right. And he was so interesting because he was young when that Katrina thing hit, and my cousin and his younger two siblings were down in Jackson, Mississippi. Honey, he needed some place for his mama and his younger siblings to be. That's when he bought his house. He bought his house so that he could go get his mama and his sister and his little brother and drive them back to the Bay Area and have them in his house that he was paying for. That I'm telling you, this young man, he just has I knew him since he was a little kid, and it's like he was like a little goofy kid, but he is about his shit. And this is a protector and a provider, not only for his children and his wife, but for his mama and his little sister and his little brother. So I'm trying to tell you, this is the kind of son that you want to have. And if this is the kind of black man that you want to put out in the community, it starts at home. And so all of us who, everybody who's got a son, this is very important to learn this lesson now. And those of you who have daughters, you need to teach them that that's the kind of man that they need to get. Settle for nothing less. And a lot of guys, you see them on TV and stuff, and they're talking about their wives. There was a guy who was interviewed. He was talking about the medical treatment and how the difference between how black women get treated at hospitals and stuff. He lost his wife, and I saw a clip of him as he was testifying to Congress or the Senate or whatever it was, and he was talking about how his wife made him the best man that he is, how she, basically formed him to be the strong leader type provider and all that stuff because she had standards and expectations for him, and he rose to meet them because he wanted to be with her. And so you ladies have to understand you are the prize here. And if you want a man to be with you, he wants to be with you, then you got to tell him, well, this is what you got to do, Holmes. You got to do this and this and this and this. And then you sit back and wait. You don't help his ass. Don't you ever help a man. Because as soon as you help him, he's going to resent you. As soon as you help him and he makes it to where he's trying to be because of your help, he's going to feel awful inside because he knows he didn't do it by himself. He wasn't a man. You had to step in and help him. And even though he did it and he took the help when he needed it, he's going to resent you later because he's going to feel like he wasn't a man in your eyes because he's a bitch boy. And he knows he was a bitch boy because otherwise he did it on his own. So he's going to leave you. He's going to leave you. And that's what he does because he's going to want to be with a woman who doesn't know that about him and who doesn't feel, know him when he was down and out and needy. He wants a woman who's going to see him the way that he is right now, together, a protector and a provider, a man who is about his shit. That's the way he wants a woman to see him. So knowing that, you have to put those kind of demands on him. Don't you dare help a man do anything. Don't ever help a man. Never help a man. Never do that. Your boys got that memo? They cook and cook. Girl, I'm telling you, sometimes, you got a son who's a cook. Like my brother, he cooks better than me. And so sometimes men, you expose them to things and they turn out to have a real talent for it. Honey, my brother, like he's talking about he cooking this and that. God be the first one over there with my knife and my fork in my hand like they do in the cartoons. Like, what we eat, where is my plate? Because he can throw the fuck down. We used to tease him and talk about you need to open up a barbecue pit or something because he can grill like a motherfucker. It's unbelievable. And I don't eat meat now, but still, I'm just remembering back, when I did, and this shit would be tender and flavorful down to the bone. It was just fucking amazing. So, these are things that you might also be giving your child a way to make money. Okay? Making them have some responsibilities and exposing them to different things. Yes, Judge Hatch's daughter-in-law. Oh, was that her son-in-law? Okay. But yeah, he was just all heartfelt about how she her influence, his wife's influence, made him be the man that he is, a better man. And so when I was looking at that, I was like, yeah, this is what happens. But in a situation like, she didn't take less. She didn't accept him with his mediocrity. She made that motherfucker step up. And so he did it because he wanted to be with her. And you guys have to understand that if a man wants to be with you, he's going to step the fuck up. He's not going to sit on his ass. So you got some guy who's just sitting on his ass trying to skate by and get you to accept him with his mediocre ass and do nothing self, then, that's a dusty. Leave him alone. He's dusty. He don't have no ambition. He wants you to do everything. And y'all be, stepping up doing it for him. Don't do that. Yeah, they don't want to be reminded, but because in those days he wasn't the man that he needed to be, and he knows you know it. So it's embarrassing to him. He feels pitiful when he looks at you. He feels nothing because you had to help him. Like I said, even though he took it and he know he needed it, it still makes him feel embarrassed. And so, he doesn't feel respected. He doesn't feel like you can really respect him as a man because you the one, look, motherfucker, you wouldn't be the man that you are if it wasn't for me, nigga. So don't be talking that shit to me. Okay, that's what even if that's not what you're saying, that's what he's hearing in his head. That's what I'm saying. And so he's going to feel humiliated every time he looks at you because he knows he didn't do what he was supposed to do as a man. You had to help his ass. Yeah, I don't want you guys promoting dustiness. Don't do that. Hmm. Yeah, the men have to provide. I mean, that's what part of what makes them feel like men. So you have these guys, right? They come on the channel and they're making all these videos on YouTube, and they're talking about hypergamy. They don't, well, that's where it's wrong. These women only want a man with money. Damn Skippy. What somebody want with your broke ass? You don't have shit, you ain't about shit, and you have a fucked up attitude. Why would a woman want to be bothered with you? Plus, you're short and ugly, and you can't fuck too. So it's like, man, it's not even a trifecta. It's like a double trifecta. Six things a fail. And you sit up there trying to figure out, why some woman don't want you and how you deserve a 10 and all this old shit. You broke ass. Women who are 9s and 10s don't go with broke dudes. They know their value. And they know for women, it's youth and beauty. And for men, it's your accomplishments. Okay, and you motherfuckers sitting online that haven't accomplished shit and don't want to accomplish shit, but you think you're supposed to get the Golden Beauty Award and get the woman of your dreams without doing anything. It doesn't work like that. Life does not work like that. You don't get the golden job and you don't get the golden woman unless you put in the work to get it. You have to be deserving of it. You have to be rewarded for it. But you haven't done the work, so you're not even in the race, so you don't get that. Okay, you don't get nothing until you at least get in the race. And they want to sit on their ass playing video games and type it online and complaining and bitching about women all damn day. What woman you think wants to be bothered with a man like that? Oh my God. Yeah, they be short and ugly and fat. Okay, so that's what I'm saying. It's like, you at least have to be like, okay, you might be short, but you at least have to have a good personality. Okay, you can't be short and ugly and fat and have a fucked up personality because see, you just need to be jettisoned to Mars or something because you are just a waste of life, just like doing the most. Your ex-husband's one of them. Oh no, dust storm Dequan. You know what, princess? I want you to stop. I'm just saying. Yeah, but they think that they supposed, that they can just rail against hypergamy. It's like, what woman, okay, what part of protect and provide does a broke motherfucker meet? Okay, you can't protect and provide shit. You can't even buy a box of bubble gum. Your ass is broke. You need to be concentrating on upping your money game. And then you might be able to get you a woman. But you sitting there and you mad because you broke. Well, do something about it. Get your ass into tech school or something. They have classes online. You can get free training from universities all over this country in different you can take certain courses online for free from like Stanford and Harvard and Yale and places like that. You can do that if you put in some energy into seeking out those opportunities. But see, if you a lazy bum, you some dusty motherfucker, then you're not gonna do that. You're gonna sit on your ass thinking that women are just gonna fall into your lap because you want them to. That's not gonna happen. And you ladies who have been doing that, well, I I just want to give him a chance, because he nice and stuff. I just think that's kind of cold and this and that. And then you working two jobs while his ass sits on his ass, drives your car and picks up other bitches while your ass is working your two jobs. Dummy. Value yourself more than that. Don't ever help a man. Don't do shit for a man. He's supposed to do shit for you. That is his role in society, in the animal world, in the human existence. He is supposed to be a protector and a provider. And if he's not doing either one of those and just sitting around online bitching and moaning like a little girl, then, a little toddler girl, not just a little girl, I mean like a 2-year old, then you need to leave his ass alone. He is a dust storm walking. That's what he is. I'm just saying. Don't be bothered. You seen that happen, Princess? Oh my God. Yeah, they feel entitled. That's why they want to go like Elliot Rogers, go and shoot up the school with all the beautiful sorority girls because none of them gave his ass the time of day. He was fucking weird. Somebody want to be bothered with your twisted, mentally ill ass? These guys, it's like, come into the real world. Get offline sometimes. Walk out the door. Get some sunshine. Your ass is pasty white. You look stupid. You comb your hair. Brush your teeth. Go visit a dentist and shit. Your teeth all sitting on top of each other and got cavities and shit. You look a hot mess. And it's like, put on some decent clothes. You can get inexpensive clothes at Ross Dress for Less and look nice. Burlington Coat Factory. Marshalls. You don't have to spend a lot of money, but you can look nice and you can find brand names in those stores too. You just got to look hard. And you can look very, very nice. Okay, you got to put yourself together and have something to talk about that's positive and entertaining, and then have something going on with yourself in your life, some goals that you've set, some things that you're accomplishing, some things that a woman can say, oh, okay, look, he's doing the damn thing, and she'll feel okay about hitching her wagon to yours. But you ain't doing shit. You just sit around complaining and bitching and moaning all the time and talking about, well, you women this and, you American women and, you welfare and men in the home and the black community. All these complaints that you have, you sound like little bitches. It's like, ew, what woman can get excited about sexing a little bitch and that she's not gay? Okay, that's not just a turn off. It's like all the pussy juice in the world dries up. Get you some wine. Thanks, Rena. I will definitely do that. I will definitely do that. I'm just like, I guess look at that. They must have updated the software because today of all, I could see the super chat. Up until the other day, I could not. This is great. Okay. They must have upgraded it. That's all I can say because this big orange box popped across my screen just like it does on YouTube. Wow, this is a first for me. I actually get to see it this time. Where Lady Boss at? Lady Boss? Yeah, I saw it, Evan. I got to see it this time. Wow. Thanks, Rena. Rena, my girl. Yeah, I don't know what else to say about this. You guys, you ladies, you got to figure out a way to place more value on what you bring because women bring a lot of emotional currency to relationships. Guys don't really see that, so it's not like a car you can drive. It's not something that you can wear like blingage, you put it on your wrist or your neck and something, so they don't see emotional currency. They don't know what that means. So it's like every time your wife worries about you and sends you to the doctor, she's invested emotions and time in you. Every time your wife asks you, honey, what do you want for dinner? And she takes her ass to the store in her car in the snow and in the ice and in the cold and in the rain to get the shit and then drags it home and slings them pots to put that meal on the table because that's what you wanted. She just invested hours of emotional currency in making you happy. When your wife has, you want kids because you grew up by yourself, you want kids, and she decides, well, okay, I would only be happy with one, maybe two, but he really wants three. And so she has that third child. That's emotional currency that's going to be for the rest of her life. She's invested in that. These are the kind of things, your mother, you can't go and see your mother and be with her at the hospital. So she steps up and she takes a day or two off of work and she goes and spends time with your mama, cooking for her, cleaning with her, keeping her company and stuff until you get off and then you can do it. That's emotional currency that she invested in you. When she sits down, you having problems, you feeling stressed, and she massages you and listens to your problems and kisses you and hugs you and holds you and makes you feel better. That's emotional currency that she invested in you. All those things have value, my brothers. It has value. When a woman loves you and she devotes herself to making your life better, you need to fucking step up and make hers the same. Okay, and if that means that you provide and protect, then motherfucker, that's what you need to do. And there's just no excuse for this behavior that I'm seeing from these men, alleged men, and just tall children in my book. And you ladies got to stop accepting this stuff, all right? You got to stop. And understand. I think a lot of women, they don't understand what emotional currency is yourself. You don't realize how much time and energy that you devote to pleasing other people that you love. Every time you do that, and it's for that man, it's some stuff that he should have been doing for himself or that he can't do for himself, but you devoted to him, so you're doing it because it makes his life easier, better, he can get something done faster. It makes him more comfortable. It makes him more relaxed. It makes him more happy. You're investing in him, and that has extreme value. And men don't always appreciate it, and women don't always understand it because you just do it automatically without even thinking about it because you love him. You need to love your damn self, and you need to think about what it is that you're giving to this guy, and you better demand that he gives something back to you on a par to that he make your life easier and comfortable. And if that means he got a maid for you, he helps clean up the house if he can't do it himself, help pay the person. He picks up the kids, he bathes the kids and puts them to bed while you take a hot bath after that and just relax and stuff. Well, he's reading them stories. This is how a partnership works. I look at that sign of the yin and the yang. That's how a true partnership works. And you have to demand that from your guy. Okay? You got to demand that. And a woman who has that kind of relationship with the man is the happiest chick you will ever see in your life. She just be bouncing around. Everybody hates her ass because she be grinning all the damn time, showing 900 teeth. But I mean, that's what I would like to see more black women have. But it's going to start with you guys raising your standards, understanding the value that you bring to men in a relationship. I just tried to break it down. You think, well, it's my cooking and cleaning. All that has value. Because if you had to pay somebody to do that by the hour, it would run into the thousands every month. Okay, but you do it for him because you love him. You want him to be happy. You want to be of service to him. You want to make his life easy. You want to fill up his belly. You want him to be sexually satisfied. You want all these things to make him feel good. But he has to give something back, and you have to demand that he do. Okay? No dusties. No dusty behavior. You are not going to accept dust buckets anymore. Dust mites, whatever, whatever you want to call them. You can't do that to yourself. You deserve better, and you got to make these men step up. All right? Yes, emotional currency. I mean, it takes a lot out of women because, they be giving like these dudes. This one lady I know, she's an older lady. Okay, let's see. This was my uncle's wife. So it was her mama. And her daddy left her mama and went off and did, something with some other woman. This motherfucker had a stroke and he come back all, and she took him back. And she because they were still married, because he just left. They didn't get a divorce. He just left and went with the other woman. And the mama took him back, and she took care of him until he died. See, I would have drop kicked that motherfucker into the San Francisco Bay. It's like, like they showed in that movie with the Diary of a Mad Black Woman, where she let his ass roll into the swimming pool. Me, but it would have been the ocean, and I would hope Jaws came by for looking for a snack and had his ass. Yeah, I'm allergic to dust mice too. I looked at some pictures online and saw people that had been bitten by dust mice. That shit looked nasty. And if you don't want to see what it does, just reflect that to your life. All kind of bit up and red and all fucked up. That's what dust mice do to your skin, the real dust mice. But human dust mice will fuck you up just as much. Yeah, these women be having heart attacks and strokes and stuff with these worrying about these dusty ass men. I can't. I can't do that. I love myself too much. I'm just too, just, I don't know, maybe I'm a narcissist, but I just cannot do that. I can't do that. Any man, like you tell me you going to do something. I told you about the dude I threw out my house because he didn't bring the wine, thinking he was going to sit at my table and eat my shrimp jambalaya. No, motherfucker, you're not eating shit here. Not today. Not ever. He's supposed to bring a bottle of wine. How much is a bottle of wine? Because it's not like I'm looking for no, Dom or nothing. A bottle of California wine, you mean you can get some really good wine for like $15. Okay, I spent way more than that on all the shrimp and stuff that went into this jambalaya. Shrimp, sausage, all the vegetables and everything, the rice and all the tomatoes. I mean, I cook. Then I got some. I made some garlic bread and stuff, and I had this nice little salad. I mean, it was gonna be a nice dinner. So this guy, he comes. He's supposed to bring the wine. That's all I asked him to bring, the wine. He shows up at the door. I'm like, where the wine at? Oh, I don't know. I didn't get it with the smirk on his face. See, that's what did it for me. Because if I hadn't been looking, I wouldn't have seen it. But I'm looking at his face, and I see this look on his eye, his face, like, yeah, like, bitch, yeah, what you gonna do about it? Like a test. He was testing me. So I sat him on the couch in the living room. So there's like a wall between my kitchen. You had like we walk around to go into the living room area. Set him there, turn on the TV, let him watch. I said, oh, I'm going to go in the kitchen. So he's assuming, because he could hear me, rattling around, that I was finishing up and I was fixing plates. I was putting my shit in the refrigerator. And so then, because shrimp, you can't leave it out. You got to refrigerate it. So it was in the Tupperware and it was in the refrigerator. So then I go in where he is and I sit down. He's like, well, when we eat? And I said, we? You ain't eating shit. Not here. Well, what? You invited me up for dinner. Yeah, but you were supposed to bring wine and you didn't. So that was your ticket for the meal and you didn't bring it. That's fucked up. He was all mad and stuff. But see, had I let him get away with that, that was some dusty behavior. And he was testing me to see if I was going to let him get away with being a dust mite. Every single woman that I told that story to and how I threw his ass out got upset at me. Oh my God, he came all the way to your house and for dinner and you didn't even feed him. I sure didn't. Over a $15 bottle of wine because it's not the price of the wine, it's the principle. You made a promise to do something for me and you didn't come through. So all bets are off. Everything that I promised you in relation to that is not happening. So I felt no guilt about it. It was no problem. You didn't do what you were supposed to do. And I want you guys to learn how to do that. If a guy, he tells you he's going to do, he's going to be somewhere at a certain time, he's going to pick you up, he's going to drop off something, he's going to buy you something, he's going to take you somewhere, he's going to pick up his kid, he's going to do something for your mama, he's going to fix something. Whatever it is, if he tells you he's going to do it and he doesn't do it, he's a dusty motherfucker and you need to get rid of him. You don't reward dust. You don't reward dusty behavior. So y'all want to stay with him. Oh, it's okay. It's all right. We'll just make do. I'll get over it, girl. I don't want to make a fuss. I didn't want to ruin our evening. The fact that he did that ruined your evening already. You just trying to save it and swallow your disappointment and your heartbreak and the pain that you feel from him being a fucking dust mite. But you just, you you accepted that kind of stuff. You supposed to cuss his ass out and then throw him out. Yeah, get out of here, dusty, ashy motherfucker. I don't want any parts of this. You made a promise to me and you didn't keep it. You got to go. You got to go. And that's how you set boundaries, which so many women have a problem with. You guys don't know how to set boundaries. You don't know how to keep them. And that's very disappointing to me. That's very disturbing. You don't cook? Well, girl, you better learn. Are you just talking about you don't cook for men? Oh. Well, see, I met this woman. Oh, this girl was a trip. She just was too much for me. I could, usually I'd be on women's side. I couldn't be on her side because she was crazy. She worked as an accountant for this big firm. I'll just say the name of Arthur Anderson. She was making hella money. And they would send her all over the country to do audits and stuff. And so she had a house here in the Bay Area that she bought by herself. And houses here are not cheap. But she was making enough money that she could afford this $400,000 mortgage all by herself. I was like, go girl. Then she had this like gourmet kitchen. Her kitchen was gorgeous. I so wanted to take over her kitchen myself. But she told me with pride, well, I lived here for a year and I've never even turned the stove on. And she said it in a way that was like, yeah, I'm like all of that. I'm like, what? Well, then why did you spend all this money getting this like 6 burner gas, right? I mean, she had like professional level kind of cooking shit. I'm telling you, I wanted her kitchen. I just wanted to just take it out of her house and put it in mine. And so she's like, girl, I ain't trying to cook, girl. I'm not doing that shit. I mean, they need to take me out. And I'm like, but you look at your kitchen though. I mean, I would do. Nobody would ever be able to tear me out of my kitchen. I would be like, no, don't even talk to me. Don't call me. I'm not doing no videos. I'm in my 6 burner gas stove range with the what you call it, the griller thing. And I mean, this shit was like fabulous. And she had everything in this kitchen. And so she's like, hey, no, you wouldn't be able to pull me out. Everybody, I'd be doing my videos in the kitchen. And so she was like, no, girl, they got to spit. I'm not doing all of that. Then you got to wash dishes and this and that. And I'm like, you got like a high powered fancy dishwasher. All you got to do is sit the dishes in there. It scrapes them. It did, I mean, you know what I mean? It did everything. And she was just very proud of the fact that she did not cook. Okay, so in a situation like that, I couldn't, I can't. I can't do anything like that. Yes, my thumbnail's the bomb, isn't it? I did that myself. I was so proud of myself. And I realized earlier, luckily, I think it was Princess I was who said meet you at 3. That's what made me realize I had 2 different times on, okay, like on the one that had the time, the banner I made that had the time, that was all over Twitter and all over Instagram and everything. It said 4. So she said, see you at 3. And I was like, 3? Why did it say that? On YouTube, it was set for 3 for the actual show, but all the marketing material said 4. So I had to go in and change it. And thank goodness she drew my attention to it, because I would have showed up at 4 o'clock and everybody would have been mad because they would have thought I was being dusty. When in reality, it was a mistake. I just really made a mistake there. Oh, Bedouin's showing up. Hey, everybody in the house now. So that's, really what I have to say on this topic. Um, I, do you guys have any questions about recognizing a dust bunny, a dust mite, a dusty motherfucker, an ashy boy? Anything you got a question, now's the time to ask, because I'm hoping, like I said, please, more than any other video on this channel, please share this one, ladies, with other women on your social media walls, to your friends, your relatives and stuff, especially to young women who may have grown up without a dad, or had some raggedy ass ashy daddy, because they need to know not to use him as a model for manhood and the kind of guy that they should be looking for. There are very stringent rules about manhood, which involve protecting and providing. And if he doesn't do either one of those, and he wants you to protect and provide for him, you got a little bitch boy. That's what you got. You got an ashy monger motherfucker, and that's not a man. I don't know what that is. So a lot of women have guys, you got a dude, but he's not a man. And I want you to understand the difference. And you cannot have man expectations of a boy. You cannot have man expectations of an ash dusty. Because they don't meet those standards, and they never will. They're not equipped with those tools. They just will never meet that standard at all. They need to be burned. You already shared. Thanks, Faith. Yeah, see, this is an important I mean, all of them are important in one's respect, but I think this is kind of a foundational one, because so many women really don't know what they should be looking for, and they don't know how to recognize certain behaviors as being, red flags of dust storms ahead. And so that's why I wanted to do this, because these are the kind of things that show you what a real guy, what a real man is supposed to be about, how he handles himself, how he rolls in the world, how he thinks, how he does business, and then what an ashy, dusty motherfucker does, so that you can know the difference. And most of you got ashy dusties, and you thinking that you got a man. Well, I mean, he's in a male body for sure, but he's not a man. Inside, he's a child. He's an idiot. Okay, a question. How does that help rule apply to male friends? Hmm. It's like this. You never give them money. Never give them money. You can help them with, and this is after they've shown themselves to not be dusty. Okay, so if you got dusty male friends, you don't help them do shit. Because, I mean, we all have those, even if they're in your family. You know what I mean? You can't help who you related to. You're going to run into some dusty people, and that's just the way that it is. But you don't involve your money and you don't involve your credit. You don't involve your reputation and you don't involve your job. You don't involve your household and you don't involve your assets. That means like your car, your checking account, your credit cards, nothing in your nothing. Okay. Now, if you can help him by typing a resume for him, sure, do that. If you can help him by, I don't know, photocopy some stuff at your job because he don't really, he needs some resumes copied or something, you slide it into with some other stuff you got to do at work and you make him 10 copies and, this and that, do that. If you can, I don't know, I'm trying to think. I don't know. He doesn't have a credit card, so he gives you cash and asks you to order him something online. So you order it, it comes to the house, and he already paid for it because you did it before you gave. Okay, that you can help him do something like that. Other than that, you don't help him. I'm not into the line of helping a man. Am I Democratic? I'm a Democrat. I don't fuck with those people. I do what I want to do. I'm not I have no allegiance to any one party. I vote for the best qualified candidate, whoever that may be at the time. Most likely that will be me. I need to run for office because these people are just too shady for me. If you got money, shut your mouth. Exactly. These bras be up there talking about all this stuff. I already answered that question, C Money. Um, these bras be bragging, talking about what they got, and high side and stuff. I mean, I'm not saying you guys can't have a nice car, but do you have to spend $50,000 on a vehicle? That's saying more about your lack of self esteem than it does what you have. Get you an Acura or something, a little SUV. You can have a nice car, but you don't need to high side and profile and try to present yourself as being a certain thing. That's looking for outside validation, and you're gonna attract dusties with that. Live your life. Put your money, save your money for when your ass is old and you can't work. Don't be asking me about politics. This is not. This is a relationship chat. I don't have shit to do with it. You do that one more time, I'll bounce your ass up out of here. I don't want to talk about that. I already answered that question. Um, should you be with a Dusty that has potential? Absolutely not, Pam. Absolutely not. You know why? The only people that have potential may be a teenager in high school or a young man in college. Anyone outside of that has no potential. If he's going to be somebody, making his potential come true, he's going to be on that path and you wouldn't have to ask me that question because you would have evidence of it. Okay? You would see it. You don't ever bank on a man's potential. Yeah, because I'm going to do this. I'm going to do that. Yeah, I'm going to start a business. I'm going to be president. And the motherfucker, I'm going to be a rapper. And this motherfucker's 40, 30, 28. And you don't see no evidence, no education, no training, music, no training to start a business. He ain't taking area class, don't know shit about business, getting a business license. He has no plan. He has no business plan. He has nothing. He just running at the mouth. And y'all buying into that stuff talking about he got potential. Motherfucker don't have no potential. Mm-mm. Yeah, I don't help men. This is one of my male wanted me to go and do help him write a business plan. I'm like, motherfucker, you got $2,000? Then I'll talk to you. Oh, you gonna charge me? I sure am. That's my money. That's how I make my money. So, why should I worry about you like that? That's not gonna really work. The dust test is right. It's like, woo wee. Mm-mm. Yeah, there are dusties in church. Of course, I wrote a whole book about the dusties in church, and those dusties are predatory. Um, you have to be very careful with them because those guys, they prey not only on women, They prey on seniors, to get their homes, to get their money. Um, be very careful. Like you got some seniors in your family that like to go to church. Keep an eye on them. It doesn't mean that they're not qualified to take care of themselves, but they tend to fall. Um, he wasn't my man. It's just some nigga I was fucking. Okay, there's a difference. I have a very clear boundaries about who I'ma love and who I'm just fucking. And you just on the fuck side, you don't get services. And if I'm you my man, then that means we on the marriage track. So see, damn, I'm just a lucid, easy. I just do what I want to do with who I want to do it with. And so I don't know a motherfucker shit. And I am not going to be feeling like you're gonna get $2,000 worth of professional services out of me because you took me to dinner and spent $50. No, nigga, give me my check, and then I'll buy my own dinner at a place I want to eat at. But no. Yeah, they use God exactly. They beat you over the head and guilt trip you, and just and these churches, I heard these churches be making people tithe by showing they W-2 form or 1099s or something, and they want to be getting like a portion of your check right out the check and all this stuff, out your bank account or whatever, that's pulling out your bank account so they have access to your accounts. Fuck that. You gonna get what I give you. And if it's $10, your ass gonna be happy to give it. I don't give churches shit though. I think they all need to be paying taxes personally, and the pastors too. But I'm in the minority in that opinion. I don't think that churches should be nonprofits because they're not. They're huge profit centers. Yes. Any other questions? When you reject a dusty and you have female friends and family who have this builder brother mentality, they press you to give him a chance. Yes, they do, Crystal. But you got to say no. If you want him to have a chance, you give it to him. That's how you flip that. You like his ass so much, he's available. What you want me to do? You know what I mean? I will pass that baton, honey. You'll think I'm running a 400 relay. I'll pass that shit so fast. Boop. It's yours now. Run, bitch, run. Yeah, I'm not giving shit. You guys need to understand that what's going on, these guys trying to get control over women's bodies, decide what you can do with your birth control, with your womb, what you have to have a baby because they want you to, all this stuff. They want to be women because they want to come in the locker room and look at you naked because they want to. I mean, all this stuff is going on politically with women, and you guys, these are ashy motherfuckers. I don't care if they're in political power. They're ashy as hell. No man who was a protector and a provider would want to assault women like that and be in a locker room with teenage girls. These are fucking perverts. And they're using the cover of this trans shit to do it. You can't tell who's really, quote, trans and who's just using it for cover to have access to female bodies. Putting on a wig. Man, motherfucker's got a beard and a big ass belly and shit, and he slaps a wig on his head and puts some earrings on and walks into the women's locker room, and the locker room staff at the gym don't stop him because he, quote, identifies as a woman. And then he walks, takes all his pictures and does all his ogling and gets his jollies and then walks out, goes, gets in his car and snatches that wig off and uploads all them pictures to the internet or writes a story about it. See, this is the kind of shit that they putting women under. So, all of the motherfuckers are ashy. That's what I'm saying. When you start really thinking about the dustiness level and what behaviors constitute dustiness, most men are dusty. All races around the world, they dusty as hell. Yep. Men are the reason women. Men are also the reason that women end up in mental institutions. Men are the reason women end up in prison. They be giving women drugs and stuff and having them hold them, and then the woman does the time while his ass is still running out free. Y'all don't do that. If your man asks you to hold some illegal contraband, you give it back to him and say, no, I'm not going to do that. And you want to go to prison, that's on you. I don't really mind. I might even visit you home. But you ain't putting me in that trick bag. Fuck that. But these young girls, they had this thing, that's my man. I need to be here for him. He loves me though. So I need to help him. No, you don't, you dumb bitch. You give him that shit back. You don't need to go do 10 years for his fucking ass. And don't you think while you locked up, he gonna be fucking every bitch he can get his hands on? You're dumb. Okay, and that's more mothers need to tell their daughters stuff like that. Just be straight with them and real with them. Don't be telling them, you got to do what you need to do for your man. No, you say, no, you do what you need to do for yourself. Fuck him. That's what I told my daughter. I'm like, fuck these motherfuckers. There's a movie about that. Well, I wouldn't doubt it, but I'm telling you, it's happened to so many young girls. So many. They get out of the hood, they make it out, right? So they get, full-fledged scholarships. There was a bunch of them it happened to at Harvard and Yale and, all these, and they go to, they get this 4 years full ride scholarship, brilliant children, except they're stupid with that hood thing and they stay tied to the hood. And these dudes know that they have access to all these rich white people that got money, so they try to funnel the drugs through these stupid girls. And they feel like, well, no, this was my boyfriend from when I was still at home. Okay, well, the second you got that scholarship, should have been your ex. And as their mother, that's what they should have tell them. You get ready to go through a whole new metamorphosis, and you're gonna meet people with money, and you're gonna be traveling in a different circle. You're gonna leave this hood shit, including me, behind. Don't you even come home. You got school breaks and shit. I'll meet you somewhere. You're not coming back here ever again. That's what I would tell my daughter. And then you get out, you get you a good job, and you're gonna get your mama some spot, and we're gonna live together. But we're never come. I don't want you to ever set foot back in this neighborhood. Once you leave on this train, plane, bus, wherever you put your daughter, you make it clear that she's never coming back. Don't you let her come back, and make sure that nobody has her phone number and nobody knows where she is, and you make it very clear that she is not to reach back and deal with any of those hood motherfuckers that's gonna be trying to drag her down. They're ashy and dusty, and they want her to be covered in dust too. They hate to see somebody make it out of the dust pit. They can't stand it. Yeah, girl, mice biting you and your baby and shit. And read all them stories about hood life. Rats biting people in they sleep and chewing babies' faces and shit. No. I'm telling you, if I lived in an environment like that and my daughter was that brilliant, she got the hell up out of there, I would tell her, you don't know me. Forget you even had a mother. Just tell people that your mother died or something. I would want her to be so cut off from anything dusty. I want you to go and I want you to make the world your oyster. I will do stuff for you if I can. You're going to be coming anonymously. I'll send you a money order or something, but that you can just cash. But I'm not going to call you. I'm not going to visit you. I don't want you coming here. I want you to go forward. Do what you need to do. We'll hook up after you get out of school. That's what I would tell my daughter. Yeah, a lot of these guys are gay, but you know why? Because they've been sexually molested by these ashy, dusty ass men. Yeah, no forwarding address, no nothing. It's really hard, but that's what they people have this thing where I don't want them to think that I think I'm too good. Why? You are too good. Let them think that. Why do you care what they think? Are they paying you? Are they going to be helping you with your scholarship? Are they going to be doing some of your homework? Are they going to write some papers for you? What are they doing? They going to do your labs for you? What they doing? How's that? How is them you worried about their feelings benefiting you in any way? What's that doing for you? I mean, this is the kind of conversation you guys need to have with your daughters before they head out and you put them on them buses, planes, and trains wherever they go. Make sure they understand that you're okay with them not coming back and that you actually encourage them not to reach back and deal with anybody from the neighborhood. None of they raggedy ass cousins, they uncles, brothers, nobody. You don't have a family. You're a fucking orphan from the second you get on that plane until you get that piece of paper in your hand. I'll come to your graduation. That's what I would do. I would want my daughter to be free of any dusty connections. Concentrate on what you need to do. That's what you need to do. Yeah, I mean, she might be able to send something, but I wouldn't want to go there and do anything or send her anything that she might leave laying around and somebody could discover it. Okay, what do you think about black men wearing weaves and lace fronts after they've criticized black women hair choices for? And those are like a select group of knuckleheads. I have no opinion on them. They're just like, okay, there's dusty and then there's muddy. They're in the mud category. They're wet dust. Yeah. They're jealous of their girls. Mm-mm. I would do anything for my daughter to make her life be better, greater, just whatever I could do. I know what you're saying though. There are a lot of women who are jealous. I'm not one of those. I just, I've lived all my dreams. I've pretty much done everything I want to do except for go to Japan. That's one of the last things I want to do that I haven't done yet. I've always wanted to go there since I was a little girl. Now I don't know why I never went. Went everywhere else though. Yeah, they sabotage their daughters. Yeah, because they be like, some lady was writing about that. I think it was in the chat. Somehow her mother didn't want her to be with the decent dudes she met, like doctors and lawyers and all this stuff. And then her mother was so critical she would break up with the dude. And then her mother was pushing a security guard on her. Her mother just wanted her to be with the security guard for some reason. And I'm like, who does that? Anybody could be a security guard. I'm not saying the dude wasn't a nice guy, but this girl was college educated and she was on a more on a par with the doctors and the lawyers that she was dating. And there was one guy who really was into her. And she brought the dude home to meet her mother, and her mother had nothing nice to say about the dude. So she broke up with him. And I'm thinking, shit, I would have broke up with my mama. You're not going to send me into Dustville. The health risk. Butt surgeries and oh yes, honey. They need to like stop doing all that. Yeah, I want my baby to touch the stars too. I want her to be one. You be right up there with them. That's what I want. That would make me very happy. Yeah, we got to get the you got to give them permission though, and this is important. That's why I'm saying this. Your children need permission and they need your support because they a lot of times they're torn. They're going to hear from these people, you think you all that because you get, this and that. And so they don't want to feel like they're alienating their friends, right? I mean, the peers at that age are very important to teenagers. Keep that in mind. I mean, I'm not saying it's that what they're doing is bad or out of character. I'm just telling you, be aware of what's going on with your children and then be there to support them over that bridge because they're going to be thinking that they need to be loyal to these people from their past who, help make them who they are today and all this old shit that the people be talking to them because they want to keep a tie to somebody that they know is ready to get out and make a whole bunch of money. They want to keep that connection so that when she gets out and she got some job making $250,000 a year, they can put the touch to her for some money with their sad sob story. But that's why you want your daughter to cut ties. You have to be the thinker for her because she's a kid. She might be smart, but she don't have no street smart yet because she's a child. So you have to do that thinking for her, and I'm helping you do it. I'm helping you think so that you put that in her head. No, you don't owe them shit. You don't even owe me anything. I had you. It wasn't the reverse. And this is what I want you to do. And I know you love me, and I want you to know I love you to the end of the world. But this is what you need to do for you to be living your best life. That's our motto on this channel. What's your best life? And you want your daughter to live her best life, you're going to have to support her through that kind of journey because she's not going to be able to do it by herself. Okay? These, yeah, rusty, dusty asses. Many of these girls' own mothers and the females in their families are telling them this. I understand that, but I'm hoping, like I said, even if their mothers are these toxic kind, that's why I need you guys to go and spread this link around. You're in places I can't get to. You on forums, you have friends, you have your Facebook pages, your Twitter, your whatever you do. These girls need to get this information. This is some stuff that they're probably never going to hear from anyone else. Okay, this is important stuff. I'm not just trying to, bullshit. I mean, this is serious. These girls are getting involved with these ashy, dusty fools, especially they head off to college. They got scholarships. These dudes are trying to bring them down. They don't want these girls to excel. They don't want them to be excellent. They don't want them to achieve more than what they have. So they try to get them pregnant. They saddle them with drug charges. They do all kind of stuff. They keep them up at night arguing and fussing and fighting so that she fails her test. She's too tired to go to school. There's all kind of tricks and abusive behaviors that these dudes do. You've got to get your girls some strength so they know how to recognize these ashy fools. She says, my little cousin graduated from college out of state and her brother and mama think she's somehow sold out. Please. Girl, prop her up. Prop her up, Rika. Prop her up. She needs some support. That's hard. Your own family coming at you like that, that's hard. Girl, do what you can to get her mind right and make her be at peace with that she made the right decision. Yeah, they can read that, but most of them aren't going to. It's not. It's just those women lived a different kind of life. I guess that's okay, but um, it's just different. These are teenagers, and they have a different outlook, and the society has changed since those women uh, were children or young women and stuff. And the stuff that they write about, young women can't necessarily relate. Our whole society has changed. So I'm trying to deal with them from where they are. If you notice, I talk about what's happening in the here and now. I don't talk about 40 years ago. I don't talk about even 10 years ago. I talk about here and now and the way our society's changed such a fast pace, talking about Zora and all them people from the 40s and stuff. I mean that's good. It's good to read it, don't get me wrong, but it's not really information that a teenage girl can take and apply right here right now today. That's what I'm trying to do. And so it's a little bit different. Yeah, they stay begging. That's why I was like, ooh, shit. I'm like, you win a lottery or something. Don't tell them. Lacey says, I'm trying to help my niece who got pulled back to the hood after dropping out of college, and she had a full scholarship. Oh my God, no. See, that's what happens. That's exactly what I'm talking about. She's got my support and I'm always available to her. Okay, well, give her my email too, Marika. I don't know her, but you do the introductions. She's gonna be in trouble if she doesn't have people around her to kind of insulate her from the bullshit. And she could come to the chat here. All the women here will help insulate her. This is a strong team. Yeah, there's no shortage of men, especially dusty ass ones. But it's just gonna be a matter of what level of dust do you want to accept. That's gonna be the important thing for young women to determine. What constitutes dusty to you? I hope that we explained it well enough so that you guys, can go through here. You can recognize when you are involved with a dust mite. And since the vast majority of men are dusty, there's likely to be some level of dustiness to any man that you get with. It may be that past dustiness, it may be current dustiness, it may just be light dustiness. He may be dust covered like a fucking storm. But, you're going to have the tools now to determine where he is on the spectrum of dust and, whether you want to deal with him or not. I personally don't have no patience for no kind of dust. I'm allergic to this shit. I start sneezing, my eyes water. I need my inhaler. I feel like I have emphysema, lung cancer, some shit. I don't do dusty niggas. I can't do dust. Soon as they show any signs of it, I'm out. That's why I'm like, my friends call me the one date wonder. I will go out with you and discover that you have some dusty aspects to your personality or your behavior. I'm done. I'm just, don't call me. It's a wrap. I'm out. Thanks, Amy. Another one bites the dust. Why everybody trying to be a comedian tonight? You guys are funny. My dad had money and treated his family like shit. Don't think if he has money he will prove and treat you well. No, that doesn't mean that he's not dusty. Okay, I'm right there with you, Erika. Team girl, I got you. See my little cousin. Oh, so cute. Yeah, they need us. Sometimes, I was really, and I hate to say it. Well, maybe I don't. I had an aunt who was closer to me. I just loved her, and I went to her for stuff. Luckily, by the time I discovered that she was influenced by Dusties, I was a teenager and I was kind of over it. I could make my own decisions, but yeah, I just loved to be around her. She was so much fun. It's my mother's second youngest sister. So they were teenagers, when my mother was married and everything. So it was a little bit different lifestyle. Um, yeah, don't pay attention to them. You sent me a tip. Thanks, Ames. Thank you. Thank you. It says that she's a single mother of a 14-year-old son and she's trying to reinvent herself. Well, you are in the right place. Um, There's a catalog of almost 500 videos here. that just put in the search, like go to the page where it says videos, and you'll see that little thing that looks like a microscope. That's the search box. It'll search all the videos. So type in some keywords of what you want. Stuff on self-esteem. There's things on parenting, especially parenting a son. There's things on how to date if you have children. There are things on recognizing when a man that you're with is kind of a nutcase, sociopath, or whatever. All kinds of things, all kind of tools for you to use as a guide. And then there's like a weekly relationship advice column that we do here, that you can hear other people's mistakes, and then you can learn from there, so you don't have to do the same things that they did. Ooh, honey, it's just it's a hot mess every week. Those are on Tuesdays. So you'll see them. They're called What the Fuck Tuesdays, and before that it was called Tell It Tuesday. But you'll see those columns there. You think so, Miss Full Roller? I would like to. I like this. A lot of people call me Auntie Deb. But whatever works for you, that's my thing. We was talking about finding your purpose last week, or earlier. Well, actually, it was the other day. Finding your purpose. This is my purpose. And it's like there was a reason why I learned all this stuff when I was so young. I didn't really have to use all of it, but when I did need it, it was here in my head, and I wanted to find a way that find a vehicle that I could impart this knowledge to other women, so that you guys don't have to go through make mistakes, and go through all this anguish and pain and stuff. You can recognize when a man is a predator. You can recognize when a man is trying to use you or set you up and all this kind of stuff. You can recognize when he's a dusty, ashy monger. You can see when there's red flags. I go through all of those things to give you stuff, ideas to look for. And of course, I can't cover every single thing, but I do the best that I can. And I want you guys to have the tools, so that when you go out, you can live the best life that you possibly can, and you will make decisions, and you will be living like a fucking boss, and you won't let men into your life to use you and take your energy and use your money and use your body. You will be the one making choices, and you will select the man that is the right one for you, that meets your standards. But a lot of you first, you got to get some standards, and so that's what I'm trying to teach you. Standards and boundaries. You've got to have them. Girl, you don't even sweep, because then that goes into that go into the air. When you sweep, use a vacuum cleaner. Get you a dust buster. Best thing ever. Yes, thank you. I got a lot of praise on the Finding Your Purpose video. I just want, I just have such high hopes for you guys. I don't know. I just have really high hopes. So that's what I wanted to say today. I'm hoping that you can take something from this and apply it to your life. So just go through the video again if you need to, because there was a lot of information covered. The ladies gave some very detailed descriptions of what makes a good man, as well as what makes a guy dusty. They really responded. They came through with some great comments when I asked, so I didn't really have to think about it too much. They did all the thinking for me, which was very nice. And use those tools to assess the men that come into your life, and then hopefully you'll make some smarter decisions, and you won't have to be stuck with the dusty, ashy, trifling, two-bit pieces of shit. So anyway, I probably won't be here tomorrow. I'll probably try to take a day of rest, but we will definitely be back on Tuesday with What the Fuck Tuesday. If you have an advice question, use the send advice or get advice button at the top of the YouTube channel or on survivingdating.com. Thank you for visiting with me tonight. I will look forward to seeing you guys again on Tuesday night. This is Deb Cooper, survivingdating.com. I'll see you later.